guys look all much look better this way to me.
Hey, you can get these on Main Street and contribute to the fire department.
Yes, there's some people right up at the top of my street right now.
Yeah. How much is it on? Yeah, we just donated a large amount of money for them.
Very nice.
Where do you get them, Carl?
At the corner of Baker Street and Main.
Oh, all right.
Just tonight, they said.
Oh.
Is Al on?
Yes.
Jude?
Not yet. She's restarting her computer, so if you want to get started, you can. She's having some trouble.
All right. Well, called the Village of Webster Board meeting in July 23rd, 2020 via GoToMeetings to order. And I suppose that we could say the Pledge of Allegiance. So why don't we?
Yes.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty,
Justice for all.
Thank you all. And now I believe that we are going to be given a presentation by Mr. Elder regarding the Parks and Rec, or is it the Historical Society?
It's Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Well, first I want to sorry, Daryl, go ahead.
You're on. Go.
Okay. Thank you all for letting me be here tonight and give the presentation. And I want to thank you also for letting us do the survey. This is sort of the results of that. The surveys can be ongoing, so we're going to leave it up right now. But obviously, there was a little interruption here in terms of the survey itself and what happened with COVID and all that. But we got some good results back that we want to share with you. And I also want to thank Mitzi for her tremendous work on setting up the form online so people could actually do it without having to use paper, which was a new idea, but it worked out pretty well. So I had Heather. She asked if she asked about the presentation. I did give it to her. I hope it's in your packets, and I'm going to go through the pages. I'm obviously not going to read each page because I know everybody can read here, but I wanted to do some highlights.
Peter, I had already set up the packet, so it's on the screen. Your survey is on the screen. Your presentation's on the screen.
Okay, cool. All right, so you'll see it. I don't know if you can rotate through while I'm talking, but okay. So the next page from the one you're on, we were asking about what park people visited. And I think, not too surprisingly, the most visited park was Veterans Memorial Park, probably because of all the events that were held there, that are currently held there. You can also notice that we have a lot of people who also went to the Chance Park, and that's reflected in later pages, and then also some that went to the Wilmerite Park as well. So those are pretty much the three main parks that people are really going to in the village, and that you'll see that reflected in some of their answers later on too. And by the way, if you have any questions, just stop me and ask, because we're going to be going through about 6 or 7 or 8 pages here, so I don't want you to forget what you're asking. The next page was about how often do they visit the parks, and most people visit them about a few times a year. Some people visit them more. About a quarter of the people visit them once a week, and so they do get visited. Depending, if you look at the whole pie chart, you take away the few times a year one, and the once a year one. About half the people that were surveyed visited at least every month of one of our parks. So that's not a bad visitation rate, really. So I think that it shows a good reason to have the parks, because people are obviously using them. Heather, do you want me? Is there a way for me to forward through this, or?
Yes, I'm sorry, I just had technical difficulty. 1 second, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry about that.
Nope, that's all right.
So I can either make you the presenter and you can do it yourself, or I can do it for you.
If you want to make me the presenter, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it's not working.
Nope, you're all good. I just made you presenter.
Okay.
It's not-
That screen, not in your, you can't control your screen.
Everyone make sure you're muted. Jake, make sure.
Okay, I'm not sure what it's doing now, but
Hello.
hey, what's going on?
Good, how you doing?
Doing all right. So we're doing. So I think the parks. There we go. The parks are doing. So we do get visitation to the parks. On the next page, we had what do they like to do when they are at the park, and they do a lot of meeting up with friends at the park, and I think that's kind of neat too because it's a gathering place for people. And there's some picnicking and playground use there as well, obviously. But it's kind of neat that our parks are a gathering place for people, and that's obviously a great use of them. We asked about the dog idea because in the past we talked about the idea of what would happen if we tried to make one of our parks more friendly to dogs, and this sort of shows that maybe we don't necessarily have that need because we had about 51% of people that either don't have a dog or they actually don't bring their dog to the park. I mean, there's 46% that have, but it's just something to think about that. Clearly, that's not a major. That's not even the majority use of them of the parks themselves. We did ask about how they get there, and this sort of surprised me that we only have about 38% of the people responding that said that they actually walk to our parks, but a majority of them drive. So obviously the parking thing is important to people. And that may also be reflected later on when we see who's actually using the park and where they live, because that was another surprise as well. But clearly the people do drive to our parks a lot. The next slide was who goes to the park with you, and it was predominantly either their spouse, their partner, or their children. So that actually shows us that it's mostly families that are going there. And then again, we had the next category down was friends, which might reflect again the gathering place for people. There we go. Okay. So we asked them what their favorite park was on the next slide, and the most common response was the Veterans Memorial Park. That's probably the park they know best. It's where the events are. But then you can also see we had a comment about the Wilmerite Park that people liked because of its isolation. And later on, you'll see that Chance Park is used an awful lot too. So reflected in some comments later. So the next slide was what do they like best about it? And you'll notice it says, there it is, the top one, a place where the people in the village can come together. One person I thought it was neat, the next comment about the fact they liked the fact that they're very good looking parks. Thank you, Jake, for your guys and all that, and keeping them up like you do. And then you'll notice that there was a comment about being well kept and about good green space. And then there's also even, look at that one at the bottom, again, a great testament to our DPW guys about the always clean and well cared for. So thumbs up on that. They had some suggestions about improving them. And this really was some COVID things came in here about, which we could do more, hoping that we can have something in the parks. And I was at the bid meeting, the Business Improvement District meeting on Tuesday morning, and they are talking about doing some events in August and September. So I think you can look forward to maybe a movie, at least one, and at least a concert or two coming up. And again, hopefully that'll bring people back to the parks through the summer and early fall. We did get some comments about upgrading some equipment once in a while, some benches, but those are nothing new. And I'm thinking the comment at the bottom about the litter was probably some odd day when there was some trash bin overflowing, because otherwise these comments are very positive about how they look and how they're kept up. So then this is kind of interesting. We tried to get a little demographic information. So if you look at the next slide, we asked them, like, who are you by age? And you'll notice, and I don't know if this would be a surprise to anyone, but the plurality is 37.1% are 51 to 65. And then we have 35 to 50, and then we have like 65 plus. So our parks are being used by a lot of middle-aged people, a little older, and obviously a little bit younger, some. But if you look at the group that's using it, that might surprise everyone that we're really getting a lot of people who are middle-aged using our parks. So that's something to think about too. The next slide, I think, is kind of the one that also surprised me. We asked them where do they live, and you'll notice that about 42.6% of the people that use our parks actually don't live in the village. So a little less than half of them actually live in the village. So we have a really nice mix of town residents and village residents that are both utilizing our parks, and that's kind of a neat thing. And that might also be reflected in that prior slide that talked about how they get to the parks, because obviously a lot of people in the town would have to drive to get there. So you might be seeing a connection there between where they live and how they arrive at the destination. And yes, there is somebody on this. There are people on there coming from Irondequoit. So think about that one. They're not going to Duran Eastman. They're coming to the village of Webster. And then I think that was the last slide I had on there. I don't know if there's any questions, but we did have some other comments about people saying that they believed outdoor recreation was essential, and about holding events, and that they were talking about upgrading equipment, which I know Jake has done consistently over the years, and then about winterizing the parks and things like that. But in general, the general comments reflected the more specific ones about how they like the parks and how they like to keep seeing them upgraded and how valuable they were as an asset to the village. So, again, I want to thank Missy for helping with this, and we'll keep it going for right now. If anybody wants to, go on and fill out the survey and add to the number, that would be great, because the more people we have, the better our statistical result will be. Do you guys have any questions that I can help answer?
I just want to say thank you to you and Misty. This is some great data to have.
Yeah, same here. I just want to say thanks. It was absolutely fantastic. Great job.
I'm sorry, Dale.
Here that Harmony was ranked very low in terms of the parks that they go to, but let's hope that the new apartments or townhomes there on Phillips Phillips will increase that number for the park. Especially if they get back. So.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I can tell you already there are people registering to vote in there. So obviously we're getting residences in there, and this may be the reflection of Wilmerite is because the band has not played in the time that this survey was put out. So it's one of the reasons it might be interesting to leave it up for like another few months. I don't know. Well, the band's probably not going to play this year, but the main attraction for Harmony Park was the band playing there on Thursday nights. So without them there, I don't know how many people go. And it can be a little wet in the summertime to the fall. I know Jake has worked hard on that in the past as far as drainage in there. But it is so that maybe they're reflected in there. Maybe we can look at that a little bit again next year, revisit it, and see what we get then when more of those places are filled up and we have more events going on there. Anyone
I like that.
else?
I like that first slide of yours, the one with the pictures of the different puppets. Probably can't put that back up again, but the point of view that its picture was taken, there it is. The point of view that the picture is taken there shows that the rose bushes actually are very full and in bloom, which, of course, is not necessarily the case at the moment. So I do like that picture. And I'm not sure if the trees are quite as full in that picture as they are now, but that really is a good picture.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, those are, we did talk about, we have a parks brochure, and Missy and I have talked about updating it with even newer pictures. So that is one of the things we're going to work on is making sure that we have some current pictures. This is a good time of year to do it because everything's kind of blooming now. It's kind of in the middle of the summer, so it's not a bad time to go in and take a look at what they look like again. So.
Well done, Peter. Well done. A lot of great comments about the new gazebo at 104 and 250.
Well, that looks great, and we've included that park in our brochure. So I don't know if that's made it to I think that's made it to Village Hall. If not, it will. We really think that that people need to realize that park is there because it's a gorgeous park, and it also serves an excellent purpose because it's right along the trail. It's really near the other trail, and it has great benches to sit down on if you're tired. So.
Peter, I have a big question.
Okay.
If there is an increase in number of people at I think it's the Wilmerite that's over there in Shands Park, from the building of the town, town complex back in there, the town homes that have been built right at the border. Are they using the park? Do you know?
I haven't seen them, but Jake, I know you were back there. Did you see anything, Jake, about anybody from the town coming in there?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely. It's in their backyard, and it's just a quick little. I believe there's even a little bridge in one area to get over a wet spot to get into the park. That's if you're talking about Wilmerite Park off of Iroquois, or backs up to, I believe it's Shallow Creek. I'm not sure if that's quite the name of the street, but yeah, I think that they're certainly come over and utilize that park.
Thank you, Peter.
Well, thank all of you, and I miss seeing you, and hopefully we'll be able to see you again soon.
One more question, Peter. How are we doing with the Etna Struck Park?
Well, we had originally thought about doing something in the spring, but obviously those plans got delayed. So our plan now is to try to at least do something in the fall. That might involve planting some basic plantings, but they recommended that we try to do the trees in the fall. So I think that might be where our focus would be, is trying to get those trees in and then do more of the plantings next spring. Clearly, this whole thing delayed our schedule, so.
And I know we discussed it earlier, having doing something in the spring, but with coronavirus and COVID and everything, you're absolutely right. Planting the trees, the fall's the best time. But spring or fall, this is certainly not a great time. So we do all the prep work and lay the groundwork for finishing things in the spring. But the big piece is do the trees and that framework that we can build off of in the spring with the final touches of flowers and things. That'd be great, I think.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I'll touch base with you, Jake, about that. We can maybe get going when we get there in the fall. But yeah, and I know that probably people are wondering why we haven't done more, but it wasn't a good time at this point to do it. So.
All right. Thank you, Peter.
Yep. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Peter, one last thing, Peter.
Yeah.
If you contact me about that park, I would like to discuss some things with you about it.
Okay, I will. You got it. I'll do it soon.
You can even walk
absolutely. I'll do it. I'll be there.
All right.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna hang around and watch. So,
Okay, then we are moving. Thank you very much, Peter. And Missy, I assume helped a lot with this survey as well, so thank you. We move now to our scheduled agenda, and number one on the list is a resolution to approve the claims and warrants.
Oh, Daryl, I'm sorry, we need to open up for public comment. Sorry.
Oh, sure. Okay. Then at this time, we will open for public comment. Anybody wishes to address the board, all in. Or for the meetings.
What's going with all these vacant stores?
Pardon?
Sorry. Could you give us your name and address? Daryl, I think he said, what's with all the vacant stores? I'm not sure who it was though.
Well, there are movements going on within the village. First of all, in the two buildings and the east side of Main Street, is it the Pickle Paintbrush that went out of business?
Right.
But
Yes, and Walmart is going to take over that.
right?
Yep.
So that store is expanding and taking over where the brush was, and going in upstairs will be offices, from what I learned today. The quilt shop hasn't moved yet. They came back. They have filled the corner, but they are looking to move. But they are looking to move within the village. So I'm not exactly sure where they're going to move to, but they are not moving out of the village. So that will leave two sites open there at the corner of Lapham. Other side of the village, on the west side, I am not exactly sure what's to the shop where the barber shop. I know that they have moved down the hill, if you will, on North Avenue. So they are still within the village. And so that's about the only one that, no, I take that back. There's, I don't know what's going to happen or come into the building where your law offices formerly were.
Right. I don't know either. Mr. Finger didn't state what he was going to do in the building.
So I think that's pretty much it in terms of those buildings. I think things are in the works for a number of the buildings in the village, and we wait and see what happens. Any other comments or questions to the board? If there are none, then we will move to the business portion of the meeting. Close the public comment portion of the meeting, and we'll move to the scheduled agenda. First of all, we have a resolution to approve the claims and warrants. People have had an opportunity to look those over. Any questions that you would like to direct to Jake? If not, I would ask for a motion to approve the claims and warrants.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Trustee Ippolito?
Aye.
Trustee Motion passes.
Okay, item number 2 is a resolution to authorize the mayor to sign a renewal contract with the Monroe County for a period of time from September 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2025 for membership in the county's energy aggregation group. I believe that this has been a very good move for the village, and would like to continue in this aggregation group for 5 years, I guess. Anybody have any questions or comments on that?
I think it's great.
If not, I would entertain to authorize myself to sign the renewal contract.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Ippolito?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, item number 3 is a resolution to authorize the mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding with the town of Webster to facilitate the implementation of the READY grant for decommissioning of the water wells and the replacement of the wastewater pump station on the sandbar. This is something that we have discussed in the past, and it was interesting that in the last meeting with the town on July 16th, there was a question brought up about the requirement of a bond from the village for this by the attorney, and Mayor Flaherty said that in the discussions and how he felt there was not a need for it, that the village would be good for it. And of course, I agree that we are good for it. So I would ask for a motion to authorize myself to sign this memorandum of understanding.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Trustee Less? We're waiting to do that. Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Trustee Ippolito?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy? Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Just a point of, I guess, further explanation. The village share was estimated to be 10,000 plus on the engineer's estimate, but the village will provide the remaining funds for the decommissioning of the water wells, expected to be a total of 28,900 now based on the estimate. So that's what we're looking to contribute to this. Award for the decommissioning for the village was $226,000. So I think that that's pretty significant. So thank you for discussing that. Appreciate that. Item 4, this is a resolution to authorize mayor to sign with Fried Maxick an engagement letter, and also for the annual update document engagement letter for the year ending May 31, 2020. Believe that in terms of the cost again is approximately in the range, well, it's almost 10. It's $9,975 total for the billing of the audit. So, have any questions? If not, I'll ask for a motion to authorize me to sign the agreement.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Was that trustee? I'm sorry. Was that trustee Ippolito?
Yes, it was.
Trustee Land?
Aye.
Trustee Ippolito?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
So there's actually 2 engagement letters, right? So,
Well, do I put that we had both of them, but yes, there is a second one, I suppose. That would be for the audit. Prepare for the audit for the year ending May 31st, 2020.
it looks like the first progress billing was already made on July 15th.
Yes, that's what I saw.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. Trustee Ippolito?
And it said first progress billing July 15th of 2020.
Carl, I think it says that's you making the fuzz. I don't know if you want to mute. I apologize. It tells me things talk. Yes, I believe we've already received a bill for that, so I'll double check. If not, it's in the works. I'll double check on that.
Okay.
I don't think we should be paying it before we.
Maybe $10,000. Aren't both of them covered, Heather, in that?
Yes, both of them were covered in the resolution that you said. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for proving that. We move now to our attorney. Don, do you have anything for us?
The only question I had, and Heather and I talked about this, is there's been talk that there's going to be some type of public information meeting regarding the sewers with the town. Is there a date for that, and what's the format of the meeting? Is it going to be a quorum of the board or not? Only because Heather needs to make sure that the open meetings law gets complied with if in fact a quorum of the board is going to be participating in this information meeting.
The information is was going tentatively to be on the 29th, I believe that is, which is what, next Wednesday, but it has been postponed until the approximately the first week in August. Either first or second week. It will be prior to our first board meeting, which is on the 13th of August. And it would be tentatively, it would be a joint presentation by the two boards and the engineers for the treatment plant. So it is a presentation of that with an opportunity to call in and ask questions. And then, of course, we'll have that opportunity in our board meeting on the 13th for follow-up questions, I suspect. And there is scheduled to be a vote for whether or not we combine with the town for the wastewater treatment plant on August 20, is it the 29th? It's that second meeting in August. So the public hearing or the public meeting for comment and the presentation of the project is scheduled for the first or second week in August. As far as I know at the moment.
And where's that meeting going to occur?
Going to be held virtually.
All right, so you got to make sure that Heather it's got to be streamed live. The public needs to be able to watch it live. So she'll need to.
At the town hall or at the town meeting room, most likely.
So so the two boards are actually going to.
Wait, I'm sorry.
So
two boards will be together in that presentation, correct? Or at least representatives from the board.
Well, it makes a difference if because I've heard that perhaps just like you and Jerry will attend. If it's as long as three of you aren't there, it's not technically a meeting, a public meeting. But when you said it's a quorum, now it's a public meeting, and so you just have to make sure that Heather knows when and where it's going to occur and how the public is going to be participating. Pardon me?
It has to be published. So it will be published once it's agreed upon as to the date for that public presentation. So there is still some details to be worked out, Don. We probably will have a discussion tomorrow morning on this, so it will be...
Well, is the notice... Well, again, just so Heather knows what's going on, is the town clerk going to take care of the notice for this joint meeting, which is fine. The town clerk can include the village, and then Heather doesn't have to do it. You just need to keep her in the loop here so she knows what and when and what she's supposed to be doing.
I certainly will keep her in the loop.
Yeah, because, and again, the only concern is because tonight's meeting, technically, legally, is not compliant with the open meetings law, but that's okay. Hopefully Peter won't sue you. Because there wasn't 72 hours notice given to the media. It was less than 72 hours.
That it was changed, Daryl, that we decided to go virtual versus.
Right, because originally it was published as going to happen in the community meeting room, even though the public wasn't going to attend. But then it got changed, but the change wasn't noticed within 72 hours. It's not as critical for this joint meeting as it's actually a special meeting, so it's not a regularly scheduled meeting. So there is no 72-hour notice, but the notice simply is, to the extent practicable, you got to give the media notice.
Correct.
And then just to clarify, Daryl, that second meeting in August will be the 27th. August 27th.
27th?
Yes.
Yes.
That
I
Thursday.
have the calendar in front of me. I thank you for the correction.
No problem.
But that's all I had, that you make sure you keep the open meetings law in mind when scheduling these meetings.
Definitely will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jake?
Yeah, so for the DPW stuff, the sidewalk project's wrapping up over on East Main Street. That went well. Everybody really worked together and had their vehicles out. I can't think of any issues that we had there, and everybody worked together. So thank you to all the residents for helping out. Gutters, Clover driver in, and they're just they're buttoning those driveways back up, getting those back open right now. And I think that's it for that portion of the W. I know I sent out information earlier. Part of the W, obviously, I sent out information earlier. I think it was just yesterday, actually, regarding the, the air filtration handling unit. Here at the building, we have 4 rooftop units. And we talked about, improved filtration for those, and a system that also leads to improved filtration. So, and we had some discussion on whether or not that would be expense that was, that would qualify for the counties. There was a discussion on COVID expenses being reimbursable to a certain degree. We're still looking into that. Failing that, we're together with Marcia in a week, and we're make adjustments where that might come. But this is here. We're trying to watch our P's and Q's here and make sure that we're not spending it until we're sure we have it in here. But I expect more on that. I think I don't know if everybody had a chance to look at it. It was a great thing. Clancy was looking at it with the company that put in their requirements as far as the improved filter. And he started getting, started asking him about 3 weeks ago, and communication with him a couple days ago. He said it was really asking now because they're really quite busy on it. I think that as far as sewer, Phillips, they were going to start doing prep work. The short relining project there where the cure place pipe, they were delayed. It's just they wanted to come up this week. They were going to mobilize and come up and start doing some of the work. They're not, but they're coming next week now, I believe. And also we have a short set from Berkshire Park up to East Related pipe that they're doing that as well, where we've got some issues with. That's a whole section of like 1937 clay pipe that was in, and there's a lot of arborvitaes there that seem to love the wetness. They seem the joints are only 2 feet apart on a clay tile, so the roots are getting in there, and we're sort of remind that with the PVC and eliminate all those. There's only about 3 laterals on that section of the pipe, so it should be something they can do pretty easily. So I think that's it.
Very good.
Dick, couple questions.
Yes, sir.
Some residents on East Main Street were mentioning to me about the mess in front of the Coach bar, as far as junk around the front, cigarette butts and empty cups and all kinds of garbage in the front. Could we contact them and ask them to clean it up?
Yeah, certainly I can. There's a shared responsibility from a code enforcement guy, but I know we had similar situation at Veterans Park. We emptied all the garbages. It was all out 10 o'clock in the morning. We get a call at noon that the garbages were overflowing, and we said, it has to be so that that they were just calling late. They saw it yesterday or something at the time. Nope, they were overflowing again. So it happened really fast. But we can certainly. I know I'm really mindful of the front of the building and stuff there, and I've seen them out and sweeping in the morning. We can certainly just keep an eye on it and address it.
I've been going out in the morning to pick up garbage too. When I see it, when we open the doors, I've been picking up garbage. It does seem like it's a bunch of drink cups. So.
Empty drink cups, cigarettes, wrappers.
Okay.
But it's not like, I didn't mean that like the DPW is not picking it up.
No.
We're early, so
This is
we didn't even get to
It's funny.
around the front doors by the
probably happened
patio
the night
area.
before. Other than that, I haven't really seen it.
Around the front doors in the patio area of the Coach, and also on the east side.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Along those lines, I would like to compliment the owner of Nestings. She was out watering the plot in front of her business, as well as the 2 planters in the windows, they are exceptional, and so I would compliment her on her upkeep and the look that she projects there for her business. Thank you.
Well, also, I don't know if you noticed, but Gail has put a little setting seating area in the back. They allow her to take those spaces with those buildings. So it's a lovely little area. He's got it all planted. He's got benches out there.
Very good. All right, very good. Anything else regarding anything happening in the village? Now I would mention that the next village.
The flowers look really.
Excuse me, pardon? Heather?
The flowers look really, really pretty. I don't know if anyone can say that as well.
The village board workshop will be August 4th at 6 p.m. And the village board meeting, the first one in August, is August 13th. And that will be 7 p.m. I believe that we may have our new microphones in place by then. Hopefully, we have them in place, and with those microphones, we will be able to go to the meeting room and be socially distanced, but yet everybody should be able to hear all of the comments made by all of the board. We're hoping that that happens by the 13th.
Oh, one other thing, Daryl, I apologize. Today we spoke that there will not be a workshop in August because there will be a public information meeting. Trying to point that out.
Is there anything that is particularly pressing that we would normally have done at that workshop?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right. Then tentatively, the village board workshop is not going to be held August 4th. There will be a public hearing or at least a public presentation regarding the options for the wastewater treatment facilities. And that will be announced in the Webster Herald as well as on our website, time and place, and ways in which you can contact with questions. Anything else? If not, I thank you for looking in, watching, and I thank you for your participation, board. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No one, I guess. All right, thank you all for tuning in and watching this evening. And next time we meet, we hopefully will be meeting in person in the village boardroom.